please, Margaret, Aji, say yes. Allow me to turn you into the fathers that I want you to be. Allow me to turn you and your wife into the family, that Christian family that I am going to be so proud of. That family that will make a change. Now, it's not going to be easy. It's true. Like we said, the family is under attack by the evil one. And so whenever that's that voice in your head saying, parang di ko kaya, that voice that's nagging you and saying, I'm not worthy, I'm not really the one who can do this. I can't be priest for my family. I can't teach them what I don't know. That's the evil one talking. Shut him out. Remember who you are. God created you. God put that strength in you. So when you hear that voice nagging on you, you say, no! Keep quiet, Satan. I am not listening to you because I am a child of God. I was chosen by God for this role. He gave me all the talents I need to be the best father I can be, to be the best mother, the best spouse. And so you see, not today. You are not going to tempt me with your lies. You are not going to confuse me with those false promises because I am a child of God. I have that power. I am awesome. And when you accept this in your life, God's plan will flow through you and you will be empowered. Now I ask my children to hopefully share and attest that it has been working.
Give our parents a round of applause again. So, that's just a little bit of what we go through at home, but then a bit more dramatic because there's more people here. So again, hi, I'm Jade, I'm the eldest, and this is Nikki, she's the second, and this is Timmy, the tallest. We'll all be saying a little something about how our parents have been able to put God as the center of the family. So I'll go first since I'm the eldest. A lot of us actually have some friends that are a part of broken families. I know just a few of my closest friends, I can already name 3, that have grown up without a father in their lives. And honestly, I can really see that the difference between their family and ours and how they act and how they act in normal situations, in school, out of school, with friends. And I always get moments about how cute or sweet or how close our family is and how different it is. Like, my family would never do that. Like, you go out, watch concerts together, you watch movies, and like, oh, I didn't think that my parents would think that's cool. And come to think about it, what my dad said earlier also, it's true that a family that prays together stays together. Because I've actually always wondered, like, how come, I always thought that families were supposed to be like this, all families were like this. And then when I met those people that come from completely different backgrounds, I see that, oh, so are we the only ones who are really like this? So, and then I learned, especially from this talk, that I guess, not to say that we're the most ideal family, but I guess thanks to my parents, we're kind of following what God wants for us, I guess. And I feel very thankful that my parents are not only a part of Couples for Christ, this organization, but they put a lot of effort into it, because putting effort into that is also putting effort into the relationship with God, with each other, and even with us kids. And like they said, their role as a parent, when it comes to the Bible, it says that they not only be there for their kids in worldly and physical aspects, but also in the spiritual sense. Because home is the very first place of learning, and that's where you get your prayer habits from. And I can wholeheartedly say that I would not have the same relationship that I have with God today if it wasn't for everything that I learned from my parents. They put God in the center of the family, so He becomes one with the family. And us kids know when to turn to prayer, which is always and every moment. to thank God or ask Him to pray for certain people or even ask Him to bless us in exams or in our games or for forgiveness when we know that we've done something wrong. Some of us, we have these different special things that we do during the Holy Week, during Lent, and even Advent. And I think it's pretty unique to our family because during Lent, we have our own way of the cross. We have this special PowerPoint, and every station there are different prayers. Like as a child, I sometimes feel like I'm alone. That's like when Jesus is praying in the garden, in agony in the garden. And there's also things, we also do the way of the cross with our grandparents actually. So we really get the whole family together. We really get God, we get in touch with God through the family. We've been doing it since the time that we couldn't read to now, and I'm sure in the future, till our Lola can't really see the words anymore. We do our traditions in our own way. For example, the CTK CLP. Usually it's 7 churches, but often what we do is visit one church, but then we make it as meaningful as going to 7 churches. And even if we can't go to Mass as a family because let's say someone is sick or someone is injured, we make sure that God is still with each and every one of us, and we go through the readings as a family. We read the Gospel, and Dad even says a few reflections, acts like the priest, and thank you.
She's kind of nervous, so.
That's okay.
Go ahead.
Well, just the little things that we do as a family to show how we try to center Christ in our daily activities. And one of the things that I don't know if anyone else does this, but we do this thing whenever we enter a parking lot, if we're going to a mall, we always pray to the parking angel, and we always sign on the cross, say, please let us find parking. Because sometimes we spend so much time looking for somewhere to park, and we're arguing, no, you should have turned there, see someone left now, no, we're not going to get that place anymore. Where we could actually be having fun inside the mall, watching a movie or doing whatever, actually being a family. So I think that when even the little things you do, like praying to the parking angel, and usually, more often than not, find a place to park first or second round. And it saves a lot of time rather than us arguing in the car, like I said earlier. We can actually spend time as a family inside, having fun, spending time with them. And another thing that, in the occasion that someone in the family is sick, usually it's me. We always make it a point to pray over whoever is sick. So we, they're lying down in bed and we have our hands over them, just say a prayer asking God to heal them so that they can go back to school or whatever. And I think since I said it's usually me who's sick, it's a big factor in recovering because other than that, it's not just the act of praying, it's the fact that our parents make time to stay with us and they stay home, maybe even stay home from work. Or last time I was sick, my mom and my sister, they were supposed to watch Carrie, but then they stayed home because I was sick. And they make me stay in their room, they make sure that I'm actually resting and not using my phone or watching TV. Make sure I take my medicine on time because sometimes I forget or sleeping too long and I don't realize when my next dose is supposed to be taken. And I think those little things where we incorporate prayer into little things that some people wouldn't even think to apply them in. But it keeps us strong as a family, like what my sister said, where our friends would say, oh, your family is so close, like you do all these things that our family wouldn't even think to do. I think that other than going to concerts together, watching TV together, it's that prayer that keeps us together and keeps it as the main bond.
So, you'll have kids that will have a lot of activities, or you'll have kids who will always be out. And, there's some things that your parents will end up doing that
they might not realize that it's helping you a lot, but it actually will help. So like every morning, I'll go downstairs, I'll say bye to my mom, I'll kiss her because she's still in bed, and then she'll say, Dave, your hair still standing, so I'll fix it, and then she'll bless me. So every morning that will happen. It's not just a blessing, it's Dave, your hair standing, and she'll bless me. And then afterwards, I get in the car and go to school, then I'll go out of the car, and then my dad will bless me. So it's a whole effort of the parents to remind their kids that God is with you. Just a sign of the cross on the forehead will do a lot for your kids. Just for them to remember that, life is not complete without God. And everything that you do is you're acting with God. So, that's one thing that happens every day. So that even in the simplest of gestures, like just, sign of the cross, it reminds us that God is in our minds and present in our actions. Also, what I said, because honestly, I'm the one who has the most activities in the family. I'm always out. I'm either in a baseball game or I'm out in the mall or something. So, they'll always make an effort to do small prayers, like especially before exams, because I'll always get nervous before exams. And my mom will just say a short prayer, and it will really help because, like I said, it's reminding us that God is with us. And that also one thing, when you're out on vacation, you're going to try and enjoy, and a lot of times you will end up forgetting about God. So on vacation, you have to, this is one example. So, because honestly, people tend to forget to pray when we're on vacation because we're occupied with what we are doing, trying to enjoy, and sometimes forget where this is all coming from. So that God bless us with a vacation. So in our family, every time we get into the car before a long trip, we'll thank God for the opportunity to go to the trip. And of course, we'll ask for safety, pray for safety, pray for Dad not to get blurry eyes all of a sudden. So there's always a time that we will set aside for God, remembering that the center of the family should always be focused on God. God.
Thank you.
So that's a talk for today. But before, as you break into your groups, just to help you with your discussion starter and to reiterate the importance that we're trying to tell you about the role of the fathers, I'd like to share with you a short video clip from the movie Courageous.
For the last 6 weeks, I've preached on God's design for fathers to be teachers, to be protectors, to be providers. I read to you this resolution. It was written and signed by the 4 men standing behind me. But instead of just talking about these men, I'm going to ask Adam Mitchell to come and speak to us.
As a law enforcement officer, I've seen firsthand the deep hurt and devastation that fatherlessness brings in a child's life. Our prisons are full of men and women who have lived recklessly after being abandoned by their fathers, wounded by the men who should have loved them the most. Many of these children now follow the same pattern of irresponsibility that their fathers did. While so many mothers have sacrificed to help their children survive, they were never intended to carry the weight alone. We thank God for them. But research is proving that a child also desperately needs As you know, earlier this year, my family endured the tragic loss of our 9-year-old daughter, Emily. Her death forced me to realize that not only had I not taken advantage of the priceless time I had with her, but that I did not truly understand how crucial my role was as a father to her and our son Dylan. Since her passing, I've asked God to show me through His Word how to be the father that I need to be. I now believe that God desires for every father to courageously step up and do whatever it takes to be involved in the lives of his children. But more than just being there, providing for them, He's to walk with them through their young lives and be a visual representation of the character of God, their Father in heaven. The father should love his children and seek to win their hearts. He should protect them, discipline them, and teach them about God. He should model how to walk with integrity and treat others with respect. He should call out his children to become responsible men and women who live their lives for what matters in eternity. Some men will hear this and mock it or ignore it. But I tell you that as a father, you are accountable to God for the position of influence He has given you. You can't fall asleep at the wheel, only to wake up one day and realize that your job or your hobbies have no eternal value, but the souls of your children do. Some men will hear this and agree with it, but have no resolve to live it out. Instead, they will live for themselves and waste the opportunity to leave a godly legacy for the next generation. But there are some men who, regardless of the mistakes we've made in the past, regardless of what our fathers did not do for us, will give the strength of our arms and the rest of our days to loving God with all that we are, and to teach our children to do the same. And whenever possible, to love and mentor others who have no father in their lives, but who desperately need help and direction. We are inviting any man whose heart is willing and courageous to join us in this resolution. In my home, the decision has already been made. You don't have to ask who will guide my family, because by God's grace, I will. You don't have to ask who will teach my son to follow Christ, because I will. Who will accept the responsibility of providing and protecting my family? I will. Who will ask God to break the chain of destructive patterns in my family's history? I will. Who will pray for and bless my children to boldly pursue whatever God calls them to do? I am their father. I will. I accept this responsibility, and it is my privilege to embrace it. I want the favor of God and His blessing on my home. Any good man does. So where are you, men of courage? Or are you fathers who fear the Lord? It's time to rise up and answer the call that God has given to you, and to say, I will. I will. I will.
Both of you are a team that will work on creating the best family that there can be for your children.